Hello. I have a strange static noise that is not a part of the one shot, but is surprisingly appropriate given what we are about to do. Welcome to Telling Tales. We do atmospheric tabletop role-playing games. Today, in contrast to previous times, am going to be running a one-shot rather than just being a player. I'm going to be running the system Absurdia with these lovely players, some of whom you may know, some of whom may be new to you. And welcome to the stream. I should probably get the usual promo out the way. If you're watching us on either Twitch or YouTube, if you're watching on one, follow us on the other. Check us out on our socials. We do weekly systems, including Into the Odd at the moment, Simbaroom, Warhammer, a whole bunch of different World of Darkness systems in a massive anthology. We do it all. Check out our schedule for when and where to find us. And with that out of the way, I think we might begin our story. So this system is, this story is going to begin in the lovely, in the town of Notta Town. And the sun is shining. The birds are... Oh God, what are the birds doing? The birds... Let's not talk about the birds, guys. Let's keep this on subject at hand. Let's never mention the birds ever again. The birds are bad. Sorry, I keep getting distracted. I think we're going to start our little adventure by focusing on a particular little paradox by the name of Tiffany. Tiffany, whereabouts do you tend to frequent? What is your favorite part of this town? What's the place that brings you comfort?
I think I most liked the town square.
Okay.
Because it has been largely unchanged since before the Notta was there. But it was recently fenced off. Yeah. So I think instead I'm probably loitering around the library.
Okay. And like next to the library, there's the newly installed statue, or at least you hope to God it's a statue. Either that or it's a man standing very still for a very long period of time. Doesn't seem to be breathing, but there's something about the look in his eye that upsets you and offsets you. Anyway, you're standing there outside the Notta Town Library, and you begin to get a sort of familiar feeling that you've had before. It's strange, but in some ways it's comforting, because you've definitely seen this before. It's the feeling that large animals are heading towards you. These large animals, you can sort of vaguely make out across the plaza. They're bears, 3 bears, 1 young bear, 1 medium-aged bear, and 1 wizened old bear. You know these as the bad news bears. And while their presence is a little unsettling, you do appreciate them showing up, because they help you to keep this timeline on the straight and narrow. They have never done you wrong before, but they always do foretell of bad things. The baby bear says to you in a voice that is surprisingly old sounding, it says, "Fibre Optic is coming to your area." The middle bear says, Fibre Optic is coming to your mind. And then the oldest bear says, those clothes don't suit you. And with that, the bad news bears slowly turn and walk majestically away. Describe what clothes did the third bad news bear disapprove of?
I mean, it's hard to tell. Either it's my very roughly lace shirt, or maybe it's my bright neon puffer jacket, or maybe it took particular umbrage at the legally distinct cartoon mascot watch I have on my wrist.
Any one of these many things could have caused the bad news bear to say that your look does not work.
Yes, or something I am not even aware I'm wearing yet.
It is hard to keep track of what clothes you're wearing when sometimes the clothes remain stuck in a given time and you continue moving forward, or backwards, or upside down. I don't know what directions. What do you do in reaction to the bad news bears?
I think I check my watch.
It says the same thing it has said every single time you have ever checked it, which is that it's 25 o'clock.
Okay, that's comforting.
Mm-hmm.
I want to know. I want to check if I recognize. I get a name, Fibre Optic.
If you recognize the name Fibre Optic,
yes.
I'm not sure if you recognize the name Fibre Optic. What do you think that would be? What kind of role would that be?
I think would that count as an assess reality role?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay. Which is wits, right?
I believe so. So what you do is you roll 2d6 and you add your wits.
Okay. My wits is not good, so that is a result of 4. Okay. However, time is a flat circle, so even on a miss, I can ask, when or where has this happened before?
When or where has this happened? The bad news bears or
dire warnings about dire warnings from the bad news bears.
The last time the bad news bears gave such, decided to climb on down from the mountain of bears was, by your reckoning, just before a third of the town that we no longer speak about was removed from everyone's parlance. Actually, was there even... There never was that third of the town. That third of the town... Yeah, no. That can't possibly have ever existed. But something just niggles in the back of your mind that the bad news bears were there just before, saying something about maybe a meteor. Very hard to say. Very hard to say. Anyway, that crater is a stone that we will not... It's best left unturned, I think.
Yeah. It's best left in the smouldering wreckage in which it lies.
Yeah, the bad news bears definitely don't... They don't tell you... they don't tell you just any old news. They tell you only the very worst news. Although the oldest one might be a bit of a joker. You're not sure. But yeah, you don't recognize Fibre Optic. I've also realized that because you are a paradox, this was a disturbance. At the start of any disturbance, you have to roll something for me, I believe.
Oh yeah.
You roll plus chaos. So can you also do that?
Oh, that is only a result of 7, which means I get 1 hold.
You get 1 hold. Okay, and you can spend that to declare that events are going to happen. But yes, yeah, you're not sure about this fiber optic thing. The time that you're from definitely didn't ever have fiber optic. This seems like a new thing. Actually, maybe that's the thing that strikes you the most. It seems very new.
Okay.
It doesn't seem like it's an established force within the town, based on your understanding.
Okay. Well, that sounds like something that the bureaucracy probably wouldn't allow.
Yeah, the bureaucracy
so now I'm quite
not
worried.
famous. Yeah, not famous for loving change or things adapting. And perhaps on that note, we will shift our camera over to the bureaucracy, where Agamemnon is. What are you doing, Agamemnon, with all of those papers?
Kind of just looking at them.
You're staring at the papers.
Yeah.
Have you moved from this spot for the past 7 hours?
I did go over and stand in between the water cooler and the photocopier. It's nice there.
It is nice, but you would never say so, certainly not in front of a superior officer.
Oh, God, no.
Yeah.
God, no. Yeah.
They will prey on that kind of rabid emotionality.
Weakness, we call it.
Yeah, it is bad, but sometimes you find yourself feeling things that you just can't help.
I know, you suppress and suppress, but...
So, yeah, so you feel a sort of gentle rumble, I think. Like, you know, maybe the glass of water that you keep on the side of your desk is just sort of Jurassic Parking a little bit, you know, is just like wiggling a little bit. And then I would like you to roll plus bureaucracy. So this is orders from upstairs, which is that you're getting an assignment, it seems.
Sorry, what die am I rolling?
You have a bureaucracy of +1, so you are rolling 2 6-sided dice and adding 1 to the result.
Nice.
And this will determine what's going to happen when this rumble emerges.
Okay, so that's 8.
8. Okay, you are given a tough assignment and a shoestring budget. So,
yes,
like a missile, you know those like vacuum tubes which contain the things. One of those sort of starts rattling stronger and stronger, and then like, yeah, well, it's a lot more violent than that. It like comes out and it like shoots towards you. What do you do?
I leap for it.
Okay, you're a well-trained bureaucrat. You
know
yes,
yeah.
how this works.
Part of bureaucratic training is lunchtime yoga.
Yeah,
on the
lunchtime,
roof.
Absolutely essential.
So yeah, I got fairly fit, you know.
Okay. So I don't think that I think you can just leap for it. You know what the rumbling means. So you dive for it. You snatch it out of midair. It like smashes against your hand with like horribly painful force, but you're not like injured as you were the first few times that this happened. And like the pain in your hand is relatively quick to subside. So you've got this canister. What do you do?
I open the canister with sort of it's hard to hide my excitement for my next task. So I sort of with just jittery like, oh god, open up the canister and pull out my assignment, and with bated breath read what it says.
So within the on the piece of paper there's like a huge amount of disclaimer and like legal requirements and what you're subjecting yourself to by agreeing to this thing. And then right at the bottom, there is just the actual content of the note, which is, we have information that Fibre Optic is coming to Not a Town. It is your job to ensure that it does not achieve this goal. This is of a prime class importance. Failure to do so will result in your summary execution. So it's a fairly standard, like reasonably nicely worded, actually, note compared to ones you've received in the past. If you shake the canister a bit more, like you'll notice that there's something like rattling around, and it appears that they have given you a small coin, which, as a means of funding this mission.
Oh, exciting!
Yeah,
exciting stuff.
They are obviously hearkening back to an earlier time when currency was still widely used. Bureaucracy believes that currency is still widely used, but in reality, everything works on a sort of bartering system. So it's not entirely clear what this coin will do for you, but it's the thought that counts, really.
I stare at the coin for a little bit, just sort of taking in its majesty. A little bit in awe. I haven't seen one of these for a very long time. And then sort of read the note again. Quite sort of, it might just be the caffeine, but quite excited, really. I'd like to, hold on. Where's my things that I can do? Can I sort of look into this coin, find out about a bit more about the coin? Would that be classed as anything? Or
you can study the coin if you like. Again, that would probably be an assess realities roll.
Yeah. Okay. I will do just that.
Okay. So roll 2 dice and add. I can't remember what it is, but I think it's wits.
Okay.
Yeah.
I have +1.
By the way, at any stage, you can, if you feel like it's really important, you can push yourself by spending an essence to roll 3 dice and discard the lowest one.
Okay.
But that's just a general option that you have at any time, and it costs 1 essence. But yeah.
7.
Okay, so you can ask one of the following questions. What happened here? What's my best route? Are there any dangers I haven't noticed? What here is useful or valuable to me? What here is not what it appears to be? Who or what is really in control here?
I think that maybe what it appears to be.
What here is not what it appears to be.
Yes.
Okay. The coin is definitely not what it appears to be. It is not simply a coin. The coin, like, as you sort of turn it in the light, you notice that, like, it catches the light, but it doesn't catch the light just like a normal reflection would. In fact, it seems to catch it at like a fairly regular interval, unrelated to its angle. So it seems to be like flashing with sunlight, you guess, very slowly, like maybe once every sort of 30 seconds or so at the moment.
Intriguing. Right. Wow. That will definitely come in handy at some point when I try and figure out what it actually does. But I'm sure that will happen.
You hear from within the building a siren, not the fatality siren, which today has only rang like twice. So fantastic. Good day. But actually the siren that is the siren that means get the fuck on with your job. Because you're on the clock. Not that you're getting paid, but you are on the clock.
Of course, yeah, pay. Right. So I suppose I need to find out what fiber optic is and how I can stop it.
Yeah.
Where
Well,
does one begin with such a task?
Well, we will leave Agamemnon puzzling over that one as the camera shifts to the sewage-infested Notter Lake, where we see Silas, who is... Well, describe yourself, Silas. What do you look like?
I think that Silas is always brooding. You know, has a look of forlorn, kind of Byronic, just ennui and sadness, disappointment. Whether or not he might be celebrating his birthday with the party hat on and people around him cheering, is he still just sad? And maybe only source of activity is he is fiddling with something in his hand. It appears to be maybe a bolt or a screw from some that he's found on the ground, perhaps discarded from some robotic contraption previously visiting these shores.
Indeed. Well, there was a reason that while it is sewage infested and overall not a very nice place, it is a view, and that was why your friend Rosie agreed, suggested, kind of actually sort of demanded, because you were quite resistant, I think.
Well, I've had interventions from Rosie before.
Yeah, that she meet with you because, yeah, she's worried about you. She's seriously worried about you. Anyway, she's currently running about 20 minutes late. And so far, no sign of Rosie. What do you do?
Well, she's probably been hit by a bus. So
bus attacks have been on the rise in the town recently. So it is a plausible situation. But still, she hasn't been late before.
I think then I would try and what I might do then is wander back to town and see if I can find where she has come to some kind of horrible accident, and at least then I can feel kind of happy that I was right all along, that was always going to be that was always going to there's no point and that'll probably make me, I wouldn't say feel better, but at least feel safe.
Okay. So, as you are heading back to town, sort of along the route that you might imagine that Rosie might have taken, you, on that way, you start to notice that like the pavement has a lot of like cracks in it, like more than usual. Like some of them are actually sort of opening up into like little holes. And then some kind of bigger holes, like the size of your foot, maybe even bigger as you progress onwards. And next to, like, you progress, you continue onwards until you actually hear the sound of, it sounds like it might be Rosie shouting at something. You can't really make out what she's saying. It's kind of maybe her voice, though.
Well, it's disappointing, but I think Silas will head towards the sound of her voice slowly, with no particular rush.
Okay. You round a corner and you can see Rosie holding a dustbin lid, trying to, like one of those, big round metal things that they have in America that somehow are here also. Using it as a sort of improvised shield against a large silvery glass-like tentacle that is coming out of an enormous crack in the ground. And she is kind of desperately trying to fend off this attack. What do you do?
Do I recognize this terrible flying creature from maybe a bar?
Interestingly, Yeah, so you have a great familiarity with entropy. So maybe I don't know if this would be a roll because I think you just know this.
I mean,
You
I know there's quite a few tentacle monsters that live in
yeah,
town.
but like in your time, I think you have actually catalogued almost obsessively, some might say, all of the tentacled monsters in the town. And this tentacle is definitely not one that you recognize. All of the tentacles that you're familiar with are a lot slimier or are a lot less corporeal. You know, they're a bit more sort of conceptual tentacles rather than, physical tentacles.
Conceptuals.
Yeah, conceptuals, as you've categorized them in that extensive list that you just you've kept compiled for so long. So yeah, you don't recognize this tentacle.
Well, I think I'm always, I'm never surprised by the depravity of the entropic creatures in this town just bothering people on a day to day. And I think what Silas would go do is wander over, put maybe an arm on Rosie, and give the tentacle a really stern look.
Okay,
like, come on, like that kind of,
when you put your arm on Rosie, she like didn't hear you come up at all, and she's like initially like very freaked out by this sudden appearance, and then quite relieved. Thanks.
Yeah, and I'd like to mark. I'd like to use my terrifying visage, to mark one bit with my essence, my vestige, to manifest a horrifying aspect of my former possession. Ordinary people will run screaming in terror, and powerful entities will think twice about crossing you. And that is the look I want to give
this tentacle.
This tentacle.
Okay, so. What does it? I know the Shuratera that you I know the entropic entity that occupied you.
I think the Shropterror, being a creature of the night, is always shrouded in darkness and justice, and so I think when that comes out in me, it's the lighting of the everything goes. You've got to think the color palette really shifts of the town. So it goes into washed out blues and greys, and my sunken eyes, the shadows on them are very heavy. Maybe the kind of the dark shadows around my eyes are even more shadowy, and there's obviously my hair will be flowing. And maybe a subtle kind of classically inspired but heavy bass music will be vaguely audible in the background.
Okay.
Yeah.
And as all of this happens, the tentacle it goes to strike you, but then as the look intensifies, it isn't hitting a physical barrier, but it almost it definitely reclines immediately, and then
just enough time for us to kind of start walking in the other direction.
Yeah, well,
at
actually,
a leisurely pace, or not, if you think
you've definitely freaked it out a lot. It retracts all the way into the hole, and in fact, you get the sense of maybe some sort of scrabbling creature that is going through maybe the sewers, some sort of underground. It's not a permanent resident of this area. And yeah, I guess as you walk away with Rosie, she's just, I'm so sorry I was late. What was that thing?
Who can tell, Rosie?
I mean, hopefully I not to be offensive, but surely you know all of the things like you.
Let's go get you a latte.
Oh, that does sound lovely. And as you're heading off to attempt to navigate the coffee shop, we are going to shift finally to Jerry. Jerry, you are right, like you are standing fairly close to a massive power transmission box, and the reason is because your experiments have not been able to draw as much power as you would be expecting ordinarily. You can't seem to, for some reason, the power grid seems to be really messed up, and you think, based on tracing out the various technical diagrams of the city that you have come upon by entirely legitimate means and not by stealing from the bureaucracy, you have narrowed it down to this particular transformer. Perhaps describe, what does Jerry look like as she is sort of approaching the malfunctioning transformer or technical box?
Yeah, so she is a fairly elderly looking lady, easily into her 60s or 70s, a big mass of wild grey hair, almost a bit static in its largeness. She's wearing a very flowery, quite offensively bright yellow and pinks and browns blouse, underneath a full set of quite scruffy looking overalls, with the blouse sleeves kind of rolled up, and she's looking and she's kind of quite focused and intently kind of heading over to have a little look at this thing here. And I think as she approaches, any outside observer would hear her starting to make hissing, humming sorts of noises like the machinery as she tries to gauge and commune with this thing to gauge if it has some sort of sentience. And if it does, to somehow persuade it to speak to her and tell her what it's doing here and why it seems to be eating up all the power, which is, she has a machine empathy move. The hiss and exhaust and hum of idle engines are like a second language to you. You can use sway on machines provided they have some level of sentience. So she will hiss and hum and gently, sort of as she approaches, to see if this machine does can respond at all.
So the main body of the machine definitely doesn't have sentience. However, there is like a modulating a box sort of attached to it that clearly uses some kind of intelligence to distribute power appropriately, and that one does seem to respond to the hissing and humming that you are making.
Oh, you are here. All right. Well, hello. Very nice to meet you. I'm Jerry. I'll just hoping for a little introduction. Who are you? What's going on here?
I am box 3789.
What a lovely number.
It's killing me. It's killing me. They're all killing me. Oh God.
Oh dear, that doesn't sound very nice at all. Is there anything I can do to help you there, dear?
Yes, get them off. They're here right now. They're watching us.
I'll turn around and have a look. Can I see anything that looks like it's watching?
I think you're going to have to roll. Assess reality. So roll plus wits.
Sorry, that was assess reality is what? Wits.
Plus wits.
Wits. Okay. So 2d6 is 4, 5, 6, 7.
Okay, 7. You get to ask one question from the list, which is, what happened here? What's my best route? Are there any dangers I haven't noticed? What here is useful or valuable to me? What here is not what it appears to be? Who or what is really in control?
What here is valuable to me?
What here is valuable to you? What does Jerry find valuable? What is she like? What does she care about?
I mean, anything that can be turned into something else kind of cool. Upcycling is another one of her moves. You can find equipment and supplies and things that can be sort of just turned into other sort of items, ideally of some sort of destructive nature. That's how they typically tend to end up.
So you visited this site before, and typically there isn't anything that is particularly there isn't any good scrap around here. However, when you look closely, you see that actually there are a few sort of like strands of cable that look like they've been sort of cut, and a few like bits of machinery lying on the floor that, now that you think about it, definitely weren't here last time, but could be some very good scrap.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I think, you know, danger is like not a thing she would particularly register unless it's of particular interest for potential, you know, scrap and so on. Yeah, I think she makes note of that. She might go and see if she can pick up a couple of useful bits and bobs. And yeah, I mean, watching things are useful. There's nothing there, I suppose. Poor confused machine.
Yeah, the machine will, in response to your question about like what is causing this, it will just say, I believe they're known as the engineers. There's a new entity in town, Fibre Optic. It's coming. But first it sent the engineers to replace the old technology. I've heard about this happening to other towns. You think it's just going crazy, this machine. You don't know about any other towns, but you know.
Sounds like this machine maybe does need an upgrade. I won't say that to him, but that's what she's thinking.
So, are you going to keep talking to this machine, or what are you going to do?
Fiber optic. What is fiber optic?
It's new. It's faster, ultra fast. I've never seen anything move so fast. It's hungry. It's draining us. It's draining us all. Soon there'll be no.
Why is everything slowing down if it's faster?
It uses us to grow strong. And as it says that, you hear like a clunk from just above, and its lights go out.
Oh dear. There now. She'll give it a little pat. Well done, little box. Box 3789.
It's dead. It's definitely dead.
Anything scrappable from it?
You look up. There's a couple of bits that are scrappable. As you look more closely at the scrap, you see a man with some bolt cutters directly adjacent to it. He has glowing eyes.
Oi, I got here first.
His eyes widen and he like scampers away. And you also hear, like, from behind you, there was a scampering. But then, like, silence is what you're hearing. What do you do?
Well, if I'm satisfied that there is now silence, I will collect up any of the other bits and pieces that I think are worthwhile, taking out any of my own tools or cutters or saws or whatever might be useful to collect things, and have a little think about where I can where if there's any other way I can, anything else I know of where I can draw power for, my own machinery and things. If this is now dead.
The station is dead. I mean, you do know, obviously there is the not a power station, which supplies the main power to this place. There are other transformer areas other than this one. But pondering that, I think we'll leave you and cross back over to Tiffany. So you have received this prophecy from the from the bad news bears. Do you? Yeah. What do you do? I guess.
I think that this is either it's a very, very efficient bureaucracy plan, or it's something they might want to stop. So I think I'm going to contact my contact in the bureaucracy.
Ah, okay. Would this be Agamemnon?
It would.
Okay. How do you go about contacting Agamemnon?
I pull out I have a historical trinket on me, which is a very old black and white Nokia phone with a polyphonic ringtone and snake. Not a snake.
Not a snake, just
no.
like a digital snake.
Yes.
That consumes your digital mice.
Yes.
Okay.
It's like a Tamagotchi, which I hear is an ancient artifact that they used to have. Yeah, I pull up my Nokia, not sponsored, and call the number. I key in the number that I always key in when I want to talk to Agamemnon.
5.
Yeah.
Okay.
As the 5th most important person in my life at this point in time.
Agamemnon, do you have a mobile phone?
Yeah, I think he does. You know, late at night when work requires me, I get out from underneath my desk and start working again. So yeah, it's sometimes necessary to have a phone.
So you are, I would guess, heading out of the public health administrative building.
Yes, I was going into the what do you call oh, sorry, I've forgotten the word. It's terrible. You know, the stress of the job just turns your brain to mush a bit. But you know, where they keep all the paperwork, archives.
Yes, the archives.
Yes. I was just
right next to the morgue.
Yeah. Yes. Well, you know, the two are very closely related.
Yeah.
So
reducing the friction between the two departments.
Yeah. You know, some people get so lost in archives that you can be wandering around archives and find bodies. It's quite common, really. People starve to death there quite often. So always go with either some string or lots of bread.
When you go to the archives.
Yeah. So I do walk past the bakery before going to the archives.
Okay.
We have an on-site bakery because it's essential.
Naturally.
Yeah.
So you're perhaps with the smell of vaguely stale bread still in your nostrils, you are just sort of, I guess, exiting the building when your phone rings. At the same time, you see your old friend Samuel, the local reporter who has clearly clocked you and appears to be coming towards you, looking like he wants a story.
Not now, Samuel. I have an important phone call to take, and I can't.
It'll just take a moment.
Yeah, it's your moments, not my moments. I have very few of them, and I'd rather not spend them talking to the likes of you.
Okay, I'll wait.
Thank you. I answer the phone.
Some people. Tiffany, you have managed to get through to Agamemnon.
Hi, hang on, I don't have a...
Yeah, it's very important that you have a prop phone.
Hello.
You. Hi.
Agame.
Yeah.
Yes. Hello.
It's Tiffany.
Ah, yes. Tiff, how's it going?
Yeah, do you I don't suppose any of your lot have issued any official comms about fiber optic.
Fiber optic, you say? Ooh,
I do.
wow. Funny you should mention that. I've just been sent on an assignment on this very purpose. But hush,
For
hush.
or against?
Against, of course. We're the
Excellent.
bureaucracy. When are we ever for anything? Ah, yes. Yes. Yes, I'm just over to archives to fill in a requisition form and find out what I can find.
I've had some very rude bears insult me and warn me about fiber optic.
Ah, so this must be important.
I think it's something bad.
Gives me the chills. Ooh, exciting stuff. Now I can't wait to fill out the forms. Yes.
Right.
Well,
but we are actually going to do something about it, right?
Well, that all depends, really. Depends what I can find in the archives and whether I'll get the right requisition forms filled in triplicate and sent off in time. But I should say so. We're always very efficient at Ministry of Health.
Are you?
Yes?
Are you?
I mean, in terms of injuries per minute, they have an impeccable record.
Yes, we have the
graphs
highest in all of
keep going
all
up.
of the bureaucracy, you know. Our graphs are always at the top. Yes.
All of the
so-
numbers go up in the bureaucracy.
Exactly, you know, numbers, it's the higher the number you have, the better, no matter what.
Yeah, but that's
Um,
always numbers over time.
Yes, well, poo to you. I need another coffee to deal with this conversation. Jesus.
All right. Well, let me know when you've filled in your forms.
I shall indeed, of course, of course. I shall keep you in contact, but mind you, don't let anyone else hear about this. In fact, I shouldn't really be talking to you. I've got someone here.
The reporter is, now that you look, is holding his microphone directly under your mouth as you
Bollocks.
speak.
Bollocks.
Thanks for the story, Aggie. And then bureaucracy fails again to contain another entropic horror.
Look, Sam, I've had enough of this.
It's Samuel.
Bollocks to you in your name. It's Samuel. It's Sam. I couldn't give a toss. Look, this is a very important matter, and I have very little time to deal with your nonsense.
You don't need to give me a toss. You've given me a quote. Much better for me.
Damn it, Samuel.
Samuel goes off cackling.
Well, at least he's gone.
What do you? I guess either of you. Are you still on the phone, or have you hung up rudely on each?
Not rudely, but yes, I have hung up just to do with Samuel's utter trash. But yes, I will be going to fill in the requisition forms to find out what information we have on.
Okay.
Yes.
Well, that sounds like you are seeking specialized help or resources.
I have a move, which is requisition form.
What does requisition form do?
Was when you call for aid. When you call for aid from a contact. So I suppose it would be going into the
call for aid.
Archives and call for aid, really.
Okay. Yep. All right. So you are going to try and use the resources of the bureaucracy to analyze things. So you, I guess you're going to head into the void archives, which keep all of the information that is both true and not true. And I think you need to roll to call for aid. So roll 2d6 and add. I'm not sure. No, it's add your bureaucracy, which I believe is +1.
Yes. And What have we got there? Oh, so that is 8 again.
Okay, so on a hit, they'll provide what you need for exchange for debt. On a 7 to 9, they either demand payment up front or have only a lesser version of what you need. What are you asking the archivist?
Whether they have any information on what is fiber optic.
What is fiber optic?
Yes, any information at all on fiber optic would be rather helpful.
Okay, they are. So you see Monifer, who is a librarian of the Void Archive, and Monifer is going to. You've interacted with her before. I guess you've tussled. She'll say, "I do know of fiber optic."
Fantastic.
You know how this works, Aggie. Hand over something that I will find valuable. What can you give me? She sort of keeps doing this. Her fingers keep she wants something from you.
What do I have?
I'll take a cherished memory.
A cherished memory?
Well,
what? About the smoking room?
Oh, that one would be very good. Yes.
Oh, but it's the smoking room. It's my favorite memory.
Information comes at a price. Knowledge for power.
If it's for the cause, I suppose.
Okay.
Well, yes. Go on, take it.
Well, she gets, one of those little head massager things, and she scrubs it on your head a bit. And it feels vaguely nice physically, but it also feels like a part of your soul is being absorbed into the Void Archives. Yes, you. I think that will cost you 1 essence.
Okay.
So tick off a box of essence. All right, a deal's a deal. I can tell you 2 things about fiber optic. First, it is made of fiber. Second, it is optical in nature. These 2 facts combined will tell you all you need to know about fiber optic.
So let me just get this right.
Mm-hmm.
It is made of fiber.
Yes, long strands.
But it is optical.
Yes, optical. Perhaps
so you can see it, but if it's also made of fiber, you can also touch it.
Yes, this is true. We do have some contacts from outside of the bureaucracy who may be of assistance with these dual nature of fiber optic. One is the hairdresser, Cheryl, who works down at O'Hare in town. The other is a former client of ours, the optician.
Oh.
He deals with all things optical in nature.
Yes, indeed, that seems very sensible.
Either or both of these could be helpful on your mission.
Yes, well, thank you. Thank you. I shall follow these leads with utmost care and attention.
Monifer seems pleased with this, but then kind of takes the scratcher thing and applies it to herself, and just seems to be not enjoying herself, but just sort of acting like you might do in a smoky room, having, the acceptance of your peers, finally feeling, close to your friends.
I obviously have no memory of what.
Not very relatable to you, to be honest.
No,
Yeah.
no, wouldn't know what that was all about.
Would
Never
be
had a
pretty
penny.
nice, though. Would be
Would.
pretty
It
nice.
would, wouldn't it? It would. Anyway, right. So that's wow. Hate going there. It's always an awful time. I always seem to come out with less than I came in with. God, Lord. Well, in that case, I'll hop on my e-bike and trundle over to the hairdressers. I could do with a little trim as it was anyway.
Yeah. Okay. As you decide to do that, Tiffany, I think one of the things that you foresee is Aggie arriving at the hairdressers. You just get this flash, and maybe, you're not sure who else is there, but yeah, you definitely see Aggie there at the hairdresser.
Okay.
Cool.
I'm gonna head over to there. Or actually, I'm gonna head back to there because I've already been there at some point.
Yeah. I get what you mean. At some
I'll
point,
be there at that point in time.
in your personal history or future, you might be there or have been there.
Yes.
Excellent. So, where shall we go next? Let's go to Jerry. What are you up to? What's your next port of call? Having learned about the subsiding power situation.
Yeah, it's tricky. Power is important. Pondering between wandering over and having a bit of a DIY sort of look at maybe some of the other power stations or somewhere else where there might be an option to kind of draw power from, and also contemplating maybe firing off a text or something to Agamemnon to see if this is something that the bureaucracy has been involved with. Perhaps doing that on the way. So yeah, Agamemnon might have at some point a text that comes through. She's pressing with the finger to text things properly, just saying, do you know about fiber optic? Need power? Why isn't it fixed? Something like that.
And sorry, where are you heading exactly?
And I think you start just wandering back through to town, and I think we're sort of vaguely ambling towards wherever, where the next closest sort of transforming, or power stations, somewhere else where she can kind of investigate, or if there's no way she can draw power, or maybe somewhere where there might be a generator she can, jury rig or something for her own personal use back at the sort of shop.
Okay, as you are walking, you see a little ways along. You see another of those fellows with the glowing eyes. He's up on the telephone wires, cutting them all. And he also seems to be cradling in his arms a very small sort of maybe this sort of size, kind of maybe octopus kind of creature that kind of looks kind of vaguely silvery. Let's say you see that as you send a text, and when you send the text, the little octopus creature sort of jolts a little bit and scuttles down this guy's body, down the telephone, the pole, and begins to make its way towards you. What do you do?
I think spotting the guys, you'll probably shout out, that's not very nice, you know. They don't like it if you cut them off. They can feel it. And then if she spots a little guy coming down, she'll be like, oh, hello there. How are you? And we'll, proffer it. Maybe she'll like rummage into her pocket and pull out like some washers or something. Say, hello there. How are you? And like you would approach it, a cat that you see on the street or something.
So the man up top will say, these deals won't last forever. And he continues sort of sawing away at the telephone mast and cutting the wires and performing these various things. The tiny little octocutie, so what are you offering it?
Oh, just whatever, like nuts and bolts, washers, whatever I've got, spare screw parts, something that techie type things like that I would offer to a robot. I don't know if it is that at all, but
it doesn't appear to be a robot. It has a vague sort of silvery shimmer along its sort of glass-like tentacles, and it sort of tentatively kind of approaches very cautiously. And then what it does is it tries to snatch out and grab your phone. What do you do?
Oi! No.
It's got two tentacles around the phone, and it is trying to pull the phone out of your hand.
Also trying to wrestle it back. It's like, no, bang! Just a very gentle little...
Okay, you slap the tentacles, and it skitters away, and it like goes back to the engineer. It like skitters back up the pole and goes up to the engineer's shoulder, and you don't know. When you look at your phone, it has lost some of its battery. Like it was on full, and now it's like, yeah, it's pretty low. Anyway, what do you do?
What did you... That was very rude. What is this? What are you doing? What are you doing up there?
It just makes various high-pitched noises.
Does it seem animalistic, or does it seem like I mean, it doesn't. I don't get the impression that it's the kind of hissing, humming machinery type of noise. Like, yeah, I don't know if it's not something I can talk to the same way that I can the other machines.
No, it seems pre-linguistic. You definitely got the sense that it was kind of naive, like maybe it's a baby of some kind, not a fully grown one, because it seemed to be, yeah.
You need to get that thing under control. This is a very formative time in any creature's life, and you've got to train it properly. This is very rude. It can't just come snatching things out of people's hands.
It needs power to grow, ma'am. Fibre Optic is coming to your area.
You're one of these engineer fellows. That's what box 3789 was talking about. What are you?
Well, we'd had reports of downtime in Fibre Optic, so we're trying to keep the uptime in Fibre Optic.
There's no Fibre Optic here. I don't know what you're talking about, but you're causing a lot of havoc.
There will be soon. Don't go to the power station.
Right. I'm going to turn around and head towards the power station.
Okay, and on that note, we will cut to the coffee shop, where Silas is sipping on a latte with Rosie.
Silas only drinks black coffee, obviously.
Okay, she's sipping on a latte that I guess you promised her, or she promised to have
something like that.
And you're having just like soot black coffee. It is definitely tolerable. You notice out the window of the coffee shop, there's a man. There are two men with glowing eyes who are throwing bricks through windows.
It's all going downhill, Rosie.
Oh, don't say that. there's always reason to be hopeful.
No, there isn't.
I mean, look at this. You rescued me from that horrible tentacle monster, and now we're having these coffees, which are, good. A brick has flown through the window of the coffee shop, but Rosie seems intent on just kind of plowing through with her positivity. What do you do?
Well, I think I had planned on either escorting Rosie after finishing our drinks to her hairdressing appointment that she has coming up after this, if it would help, and then once having done that, I was planning on going to the S bar where the entropic creatures hang out to see if I can find out which one of them invited someone to town who has such poor manners, because surely somebody's hosting this strange tentacled creature that is accosting people on the street.
Cheryl. So Cheryl has mentioned to you that she does have an appointment at the hairdressers, and she kind of says this forlornly. She does have very long hair, and she's like, "Yeah, I do have to go to the hairdressers, but let's at least have some nice time." It looks like the two men with the glowing eyes have started some sort of fire in the building opposite. You're not entirely sure how. Or, sorry, Rosie. I may have got her name wrong.
It's fine.
Just making up characters.
Doesn't matter. Names don't matter.
That's what I'm all about.
It doesn't really matter. I think I personally, I'm fine with the fire's not impacting me directly, and therefore
That's okay.
My character is quite nihilistic, so I'm good.
That's a fair point. You watch as a business owner desperately implores everyone to help him put out the fire of his adjacent business, and nobody seems to be willing to help him, and neither do you. No. So I think for fulfilling your agenda of nihilism,
thank you.
Mark some experience.
Thank you very much.
Do you pay for your coffee as you leave?
Yeah, I'm not an arsehole.
So you're a nihilist. I'm a nihilist, not an arsehole. So you pay for your coffee. There aren't any people at the... I guess you pay via some form of, giving some trinket, maybe some water, something that the coffee shop needs. They seem to be more preoccupied with the violence that is slowly erupting throughout the town. But you and Rosie leave, and I think, she smiles and thanks you for this excellent, this pick me up that she's been having a tough time, and this has actually made her feel a bit better. What are you intending to do?
I think Silas, would would be incorrect to say that he was glad to have helped. Sure. I would probably say, tell Rosie that that's fine. Just come find me in the future. You know where I am, where I'll always be.
Okay. Yeah. That'll be nice. So are you heading towards either the hairdresser or are you heading towards the bar?
I think I head towards the bar.
Okay. You head over towards the bar. Actually, you can just make it to the bar. You're not a particularly welcome sight in this bar.
Good.
You've made it fairly clear that you're not keen on the various entropic entities since the last one abandoned you. Everyone at the bar seems Well, okay, so there are those at the bar that you cannot possibly imagine what they are thinking or feeling. There are those at the bar that hurt to look at. But of those that like you can conceive of, you can sense a certain amount of fear in the room. What do you do?
I think I would like to go up to any that have more than the usual number of appendages. So 5 and over, I think,
Okay,
really.
5 and over.
And start asking them about the strange tentacle creature and whether they have any, like basically, did you invite it here? Is this your fault? Do you know anything about this? That kind of thing.
Okay. You go over to what looks like a ball of hands. Just like, well, I guess they're attached to arms. They're constantly like grabbing things. And from the center of this mass, somehow it talks. Oh, it's you.
Yes.
What do you want? I suppose you've come to gloat.
This morning, someone who I know was bothered by a strange tentacle on the ground. Wouldn't be something you're aware of. Do you multiple limbed thing to have some kind of
Hey, it's Gary.
gin rummy group that you attend?
I don't like the term multiple limbed thing. It's Gary,
Sorry.
okay? And no, I don't know that freak. Fibre Optic.
Fiber optic.
Yeah, didn't you hear? It's coming to your area. It's coming to all of our areas. Can't just leave enough alone. It's a spreader. It doesn't content itself with, a small patch of land. It just keeps going. Anyway,
That
this
can't
is
be good.
this is a last drink for me. Can you just leave me to my drink? And you'll notice that 3 or 4 of the hands have like a pint, and they keep pouring the pints into the center, which I guess seems to be satiating it in some way. It is still talking while it's pouring these pints. You're not entirely sure how.
I think I'd give the ball of hands a kind of withering look, and then gladly comply with its request for me to leave it alone.
Okay. Are you talking to anyone else, or are you leaving them?
No, but I think given that I am here, despite the fact that I don't like much the customers here, it is the only place you can get a drink that is properly black and dark and bitter enough to satiate my now this husk of a human. I am fundamentally an entropic creature now.
Yeah.
And so I might as well get a void coffee or something like that.
Or a black hole porter.
Yeah, yeah. Just a half. It's
it's still daytime. Although it is actually getting on in the afternoon now. So you order something from the I think it's like just empty space behind the bar, but somehow the half appears before you, and you feel like something was taken. So you assume it's fine for you to take the blackened drink, and it fills you with a sense of desperation, nihilism, the comforting feelings that you seek from. Yeah, it really does. Okay, and a voice from the bar, which is obviously empty. There definitely isn't anyone standing there. Tells you, last drinks for you too.
If this fiber optic is coming, then what does it bother me?
Yeah, none of us are powerful enough to stop it. We've tried. Poor Gary over there, he lost 7 of his arms, just trying to tussle with it, and it seems to be getting more and more powerful. I suppose there's no hope for any of us.
Never was. Never was.
Amen, brother. And as this happens, you see from behind the bar, the mirror is like maybe slightly bulging forwards, just a little bit. Like the reflection is kind of distorting just for a fraction of a second. Do you do anything?
Maybe. No.
Okay. The mirror bursts forwards. Shards of it go outwards in all directions, scattering over the patrons of the bar as a huge silvery octopodal tentacled creature bursts through, and its tentacles start reaching for the entropic denizens of this fine establishment. And on that, I think we might take a quick break. So yes, this has been lovely. I thank you for the players. We will be back shortly. See you in a bit.